Jim highlights a contract clause, knowing it's crucial for his client. Michael paces his office, already planning to hijack the day's agenda. He announces Diversity Day, ignoring the consultant's arrival. Jim talks on the phone, trying to secure a big client extension. He gestures at Dwight, who's busy with a water cooler. Jim leans in, stressing the urgency to his client. Pam peels a banana, watching the chaos unfold from her desk. Oscar smirks, amused by Michael's latest power move. Jim hangs up, frustrated by the client's hesitation. The consultant arrives, ready to lead the training session. Michael crosses his arms, refusing to let the consultant take over. He sits down, pretending to listen while plotting his takeover. The consultant speaks, but Michael's mind is elsewhere. Michael looks down, pretending to care about the lesson. He glares at the consultant, challenging his authority. Michael's eyes widen as the consultant calls him out. He walks away, leaving the consultant to handle the staff. Dwight stares ahead, confused by this sudden tension. The consultant and Michael stand face to face, locked in a silent battle. Michael grabs his jacket, ready to storm out and reclaim control. Michael stares, deep in thought after the consultant's arrival. He watches from his office as staff gather for the meeting. Jim leans back, amused by the chaos unfolding around him. Michael forces a smile, pretending to support the training. He points at the group, ready to take over this session. Staff file into the conference room, unsure what to expect. Michael interrupts, declaring he'll lead the Diversity Day. He stands beside a TV, announcing a take 2 for the session. Michael storms out, furious after his plan backfires. He glares at the TV, frustrated the video won't play right. Dwight takes notes, serious as the consultant speaks. Oscar questions the exercise, skeptical of Michael's motives. Michael crosses his arms, listening with forced patience. Pam reaches out, playing along with Michael's awkward game. Michael gestures wildly, trying to salvage his authority. He wears a Martin Luther King Jr. name tag, oblivious. Pam glances sideways, uncomfortable with the charade. Michael stares blankly, lost in his own bizarre logic. Angela smiles faintly, wearing a Jamaican tag beside him. Kelly confronts Michael, calling out his ridiculous stunt. Michael wears a Martin Luther King Jr. name tag, ignoring the consultant's lesson. Jim quietly steals Dwight's stapler, hiding it in a drawer full of weird items. The staff sits bored, enduring Michael's terrible diversity training session. Michael leans back, smirking as he argues with the consultant about his methods. Pam rests her head on Jim's shoulder, exhausted by the day's nonsense. The credits roll, listing the co-stars who bring the office to life. The screen cuts to black, a brief pause before the next awkward moment. Paper shoots out of the printer, a small office disaster waiting to happen. The office title card appears, signaling another day of chaos ahead. Pam talks to a client at her desk, trying to keep things professional. Stanley wipes his nose, clearly annoyed by the ongoing office drama. Michael shouts from his desk, frustrated by the day's events. Michael sighs, rubbing his hands together, plotting his next move. Michael winces, reacting to something said by someone off-screen. Michael types furiously, determined to fix the mess he created. The camera pans away from Michael's desk, leaving the tension hanging. Michael looks up, startled by a noise or comment from across the room. Dwight stands stiffly, listening intently to what's being said. Dwight speaks up, defending his position with his usual intensity. Stanley reads a document, while Kevin watches closely, confused by the situation. Michael plays with a toy truck, lost in thought after the training disaster. He makes a call, trying to fix the mess he created earlier. He walks out, ready to take charge and show everyone he's in control. Jim and Pam exchange glances, sharing a silent moment of exhaustion. Kevin watches them, confused by the tension hanging in the air. Michael confronts Pam, demanding answers about the day's chaos. The staff gathers, listening as Michael tries to regain their respect. He smiles, pretending everything is fine, but no one buys it. Dwight stands behind Jim, pretending to be helpful but plotting. Dwight speaks up, trying to impress Michael with his loyalty. Michael sits, staring at his desk, wondering how to fix his mistake. He flips through a book, searching for a solution to his problems. Pam laughs softly, amused by the absurdity of the whole situation. Michael drives off, clutching a folder, determined to make things right. He leans back, eyes wide, realizing his plan might backfire. Jim and Dwight argue, their rivalry flaring up again in the open. Dwight walks away, muttering to himself, still convinced he's right. Jim watches him leave, shaking his head at the ridiculousness. Stanley talks on the phone, ignoring the drama around him completely. Dwight peeks through the blinds, spying on Michael's office, suspicious. Dwight sits at his desk, ignoring the phone as it rings. He refuses to answer, focused on his paperwork. He slams the receiver down hard. His frustration is clear as he shoves papers aside in anger. Jim walks to the reception desk holding a folder. He needs Pam's help with a client file. Michael greets Jim with a wide smile, pretending he wasn't just hiding from the staff. Jim tosses a sticky note across the office. It lands perfectly on Dwight's forehead as he works. The staff sits in the conference room, bored. They wait for Michael to start the diversity training. Dwight stands up suddenly. He interrupts the trainer, demanding to know why he wasn't chosen. Kevin speaks up, confused. He asks why they can't just treat everyone the same way. Michael corners the trainer in the hallway. He insists he knows more about diversity than anyone. The trainer addresses the group, trying to calm the chaos. Michael stands with his arms crossed. Michael smirks, satisfied. He thinks he's won the argument and taken control of the session. Jim leans back in his chair, amused. He watches Michael try to take over the meeting again. The staff stares at Michael, unimpressed. His attempt to lead the training falls flat. Michael sits down, defeated. He realizes the staff isn't buying his version of diversity. The credits roll, listing the co-stars. The office chaos continues off-screen. The Reveille appears. The show's opening theme plays, signaling the start of the episode. Pam sits at reception, typing. She ignores the noise from the conference room behind her. Michael argues with Dwight in the hallway. He demands Dwight stop undermining his authority. Michael sits at his desk, stunned. He didn't expect the staff to side with the trainer. Kevin and Stanley stand by the water cooler. They discuss the meeting, shaking their heads in disbelief. Michael sits in his office, ignoring the diversity training he's supposed to lead. He turns to Pam, demanding she help him sabotage the consultant's session. Pam listens, unsure if he's serious or just being Michael again. She sits beside the consultant, pretending to take notes while glancing nervously. A photo on the wall shows Michael posing with Dwight, both smiling awkwardly. Dwight leans toward Jim, whispering something urgent about the training. Jim points at Dwight, teasing him about his over-the-top reaction. Jim leans closer, whispering a prank idea into Dwight's ear. They stand face to face through the blinds, plotting something mischievous. Michael holds a card with a fake bird, pretending it's part of the training. He looks up, startled, as someone walks past his office window. Jim stands in the break room, laughing as Oscar eats popcorn quietly. Outside, Jim and Dwight argue beside a car, both refusing to back down. Oscar walks into Michael's office, holding a clipboard with serious intent. He stands over Michael, who pretends to read documents to avoid eye contact. Pam confronts Jim, upset he's dragging her into another one of his schemes. Dwight sits at his desk, staring blankly, still processing Jim's prank. Michael slumps in his chair, defeated, realizing no one cares about his plan. Dwight stands tall, pretending he's in charge, but no one listens. He smiles slightly, satisfied he outsmarted everyone, even if no one noticed. Jim argues with someone in the warehouse, gesturing wildly. He grabs a box, looking determined to move it himself. Dwight and another worker push a heavy pallet, ignoring Jim. Michael eats cake at a birthday party, ignoring the chaos. A lone box of bathroom tissue sits forgotten on the floor. Jim sips coffee, watching the party from his desk. Michael talks to someone inside his office, blinds half closed. He smiles smugly, thinking he's in control. Jim dives headfirst into a cardboard box, hiding. Michael laughs with Oscar, oblivious to Jim's antics. Pam reads a card aloud, the group listening intently. Two men walk past, one holding a coffee cup. Pam looks annoyed as others watch her read. The group stares, waiting for Pam to finish reading. Michael stands, looking confused by the silence. He sits down, reviewing papers with Oscar beside him. Michael glares, clearly frustrated by the situation. Jim leans over Pam's desk, whispering something. He stands up, talking to Dwight, who just arrived. Dwight walks past a plant, heading toward the action. The credits roll, listing the co-stars who bring the office to life. NBC Universal's logo shines, signaling the start of another workday. A water cooler stands ready, the silent witness to office drama. Jim leans back, already bored by the day's mundane tasks. Michael stares ahead, plotting his next move in the office chaos. He approaches Pam's desk, demanding her attention for his plan. Dwight slumps at his desk, lost in thought about his next prank. Michael gestures wildly, explaining his grand idea to the room. Dwight and Jim sit side by side, plotting their next move together. Pam listens quietly, unsure if she should laugh or roll her eyes. Michael and Jim stride through the office, on a mission together. They exchange a look, Michael, oblivious. Jim amused by the chaos. Jim smirks, already planning his next prank on Dwight's expense. Michael turns to Jim, unaware his joke just fell completely flat. He faces the warehouse crew, trying to assert his authority. Jim laughs at his desk while Michael performs his silly routine. Phyllis glances over, unimpressed by the office's usual antics. Dwight argues with Michael, defending his own bizarre methods. Pam works quietly, pretending not to notice the madness around her. Michael leans on Pam's desk, launching into another wild story. Michael leans on Pam's desk, announcing a big meeting. She just stares, already dreading it. Jim walks up to Michael, asking about the day's plan. Michael ignores him, focused on his own ideas. Dwight holds up a first aid kit, yelling for attention. No one listens. He looks annoyed. Jim smirks at his desk, clearly amused by Dwight's failed attempt to be helpful. Jim sits in a chair, looking bored. He's waiting for something to break the monotony. The warehouse team gathers for basketball. Jim stands with arms crossed, watching the chaos. Pam and Michael jump together, trying to reach a high shelf. They both fail miserably. Jim shoots a basket. The ball arcs high, then swishes through the net. He grins. The ball bounces off the rim. Everyone watches as it rolls away. No one moves to grab it. Jim jogs across the court, chasing the ball. Michael follows, yelling encouragement he doesn't need. The crowd watches Jim play. Some cheer, others just sit and look tired of the game. Jim shoots again. The ball flies, hits the backboard, and bounces out. He shrugs. Michael yells from the sidelines, gesturing wildly. No one pays him any attention. Jim runs past Michael, who's still talking. Jim doesn't slow down or look back. Michael watches Jim play, then turns to the crowd, still talking. They ignore him. Jim jumps for the ball. He grabs it midair, then drops it. He laughs at himself. The ball soars toward the ceiling. Everyone looks up, waiting to see where it lands. Michael yells at the players, frustrated. They keep playing, pretending not to hear him. Michael stops yelling, staring at the court. He looks confused, then turns away. Michael turns to someone off-screen, his voice sharp. He's not done making his point. Jim stands in the warehouse, sweat dripping, as the game ends in chaos. Michael smirks, ignoring the team's exhaustion, already planning his next move. Jim strips off his shirt in the bathroom, ready to return to his desk. He chats with Dwight, who's obsessed with a tiny paper cut, ignoring Jim's point. Michael sits in his office, staring blankly, plotting his next big idea. A colorful sign flashes, Deedle-Dee Productions, the show's quirky start. Jim answers the phone, voice calm, trying to close a crucial deal. The screen fades to black. The title, The Office, appears slowly. Michael sighs, looking down, clearly frustrated with the day's events. He glances up, eyes narrowing as the credits roll over his face. Pam stands at the reception desk, watching as a woman walks in. Michael greets the consultant with fake enthusiasm, Dwight hovering behind. He leans in, speaking too loudly, trying to impress the new visitor. The consultant smiles politely, clearly unimpressed by Michael's antics. Michael turns away, muttering to himself, already annoyed. Pam looks up, caught between amusement and concern, as he walks off. They walk past the filing cabinets, Michael still talking too fast. Pam heads to the restroom, needing a moment away from the madness. She returns holding a mug, as Michael continues his loud monologue. Dwight eats a chip, watching the scene unfold, completely unfazed. Jim eats a sandwich, ignoring Dwight's glare across the office. Dwight sits stiffly beside Jim, arms crossed, refusing to back down. Jim argues with Dwight, gesturing wildly over a pile of papers. Michael paces inside his office, blinds half closed, plotting his next move. Jim leans over Pam's desk, whispering something that makes her frown. Pam turns away, shaking her head as Jim follows her with his eyes. Michael speaks loudly, trying to command attention from his office. Pam stares blankly ahead, pretending not to hear Michael's voice. Michael smirks, satisfied with himself, unaware of the chaos he caused. Dwight watches Michael through the blinds, muttering under his breath. Michael looks down, suddenly quiet, as if realizing his mistake. Michael sips coffee, watching Pam shake hands with someone outside. Pam laughs with Jim, leaning on his desk like they're sharing a secret. Dwight slumps in his chair, staring at his keyboard, defeated. Dwight glares at a sales chart, his jaw tight with frustration. Michael leans into a car, talking fast to a man in the driver's seat. Pam shakes hands with a visitor, smiling politely through the blinds. Michael tosses papers into the car, looking stressed and hurried. Pam stands over Jim's desk, talking softly as he nods along. Michael throws a folder down, visibly annoyed, behind his blinds.